You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. New information. We now know the name of the man killed in a Beloit shooting a day after Christmas.
Beloit's police say 32-year-old Gregory Ashford of Beloit died after a shooting on Oak Street. A woman also suffered non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. She's expected to make a full recovery. Police are investigating the shooting as a homicide. Anyone with information should contact the Greater Area Beloit Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. You can also submit a tip to an anonymous tip to their website.
And let's get a check of our first warn forecast. It is cold out there. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington is all bundled up on the patio.
Yes, I am. But Brady, I got to add, I went for a walk earlier today, and with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, I had to correct my thinking here. That's normal for this time of year, upper 20s, but we got changes on the way, folks, for southern Wisconsin. Current temperatures, we got 28 in Madison, 24 to the west in Viroqua, 28 to the southeast in Janesville. As we take a look at the wind chills, that factors in the wind. This is what it feels like. 19 in Lone Rock, 21 in Madison, 20 in Janesville. Totally normal for what you would expect for January. But again, we've been acclimated to showers and temperatures near 50 degrees not too many days ago. Again, 29 in Middleton, 28 in Madison, and how about a 28 to the southeast in Edgerton. Again, temperatures right now, mid to upper 20s. I want to emphasize this is normal for this time of year because the changes are on the way. As we dip through the rest of the evening tonight, I want you to take a look at the bottom number there. Temperatures slipping down by the time we get to the end of the night. When you join me for the 10 o'clock newscast, it'll feel like 10 degrees. Just how long the cold sticks around and when the coldest wind chills will be over the next couple of days, we'll talk about it together in a few minutes.
Thank you, Alex. 15 are dead and dozens more are injured in New Orleans after a man drove his truck through a crowd celebrating New Year's Eve on Tuesday night.
The act of terror raises questions about safety at crowded outdoor events around the country. Our Maddie Heimsch brings us to the Madison streets.
It's a quiet day on State Street today, but throughout the year, hundreds or even thousands can fill the entire street. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says the city runs metal barricades for special events to protect people from vehicle traffic, but protocols are always evolving. So when an attack like the one on Bourbon Street makes headlines, departments nationwide reevaluate.
And we see what other cities are doing so that we can make sure that when people are walking and shopping and going to farmers market, that they're safe, because there is no defense against a vehicle. Person versus vehicle wins every time.
In a statement to News 3, UWPD's Mark Lovicott says during Badger football games, campus police use a combination of specialized barricades and squad cars to block off city streets. Reporting on State Street, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Maddie. And we'll have more of the City of Madison's emergency action plan coming up on News 3 Now at 5 and 6.
And we have some new information about the suspect in that New Orleans attack and the number of people who died. The FBI says of the 15 people who died, 14 were victims. The 15th was the suspect, who died during a shootout with police. The agency believes 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar acted alone when he drove a pickup truck into a crowded street on Bourbon Street during New Year's celebrations. The 42-year-old veteran received medals for his overseas military service and Afghanistan deployment. The FBI says even though he acted alone, Jabbar was inspired by a terrorist group.
What I can tell you right now is that he was 100% inspired by ISIS. And so we're digging through more of the social media, more interviews, working with some of our other partners to ascertain just how, to ascertain a little bit more about that connection.
Before the attack, Jabbar allegedly made videos in which he said that he joined the terrorist group. Police also found an ISIS flag in the truck he drove into the crowd. The attack was less than a mile from where the Sugar Bowl was set to take place hours later, but officials postponed it. It's getting underway now with heightened security. Bourbon Street is also open again.
A child is dead after getting hit by a bus while other children were on board at a Silver Spring Immediate School in Sussex. According to an email sent to families in the Hamilton School District, the child was a 4K student who was transferring to a shuttle bus in the morning. The cause of the incident is still under investigation. The bus driver is fully cooperating with investigators. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Department says there's no active threat to the school or surrounding area. In a letter to families, the district school superintendent said in part, quote, "We understand that the tragedy is sure to raise many many emotions, concerns, and questions for the school and the entire school community, especially our students. Our student service team immediately began working with students and staff at several buildings this morning and will continue to provide support during this difficult time.
We have a new photo of the person of interest in the deaths of 3 people at a home in New Lisbon. Now take a look at your screen. The Juneau County Sheriff's Office shared this photo with us today of Virgil Thu. The Sheriff's Office says it was taken at a New Lisbon Dollar General on Sunday. Thu's about 150 pounds, 5'10", and considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach him. Call 911. He's linked to an incident on Monday in which officers found 2 minors and an adult dead at a home along West Bridge Street. It came after a report of a missing minor out of Monroe County and last seen with Thu. While searching, New Lisbon police were notified of a second missing minor. The search led officers to the home. Law enforcement officials have not yet confirmed whether the 2 minors found dead were the same ones reported missing. The New Lisbon police will continue to provide updates on the case on their Facebook page.
And as soon as we learn more information, you will too. To receive updates directly to your phone on this story and other news, download the free Channel 3000 mobile app.
Next on Live at 4, the investigation into an explosion outside one of President-elect Donald Trump's hotels.
What we know about the suspect and the similarities with the New Year's Day attack in New Orleans.
Some breaking news. The New York Times is reporting a federal appeals court struck down the Federal Communications Commission's landmark net neutrality rules. The rules prevented broadband providers from slowing or blocking access to internet content. The Biden administration's hallmark tech policy received support from consumer groups and tech giants like Google, but were condemned by telecommunications telecommunications giants like AT&T. In a statement after the ruling, the FCC called on Congress to take up the charge for net neutrality.
Federal and local police are investigating this truck explosion outside of President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel as a possible act of terrorism and to determine whether it is connected to the terror attack in Las Vegas.
Nicole Skanga is in Washington, D.C. with the latest.
Police say they're now very confident they know who set off the bomb inside a Tesla truck outside of President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel. Authorities say they believe 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger was the driver of the Cybertruck, but the body was burned so badly they're still awaiting dental and DNA records for 100% confirmation.
There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body.
But there is still a lot of work to do to figure out why Livelsberger shot himself and detonated a bomb in the truck.
It's not lost on us that it's in front of, of the Trump building, that it's a Tesla vehicle. But we don't have information at this point that definitively tells us or suggests it was because of this particular ideology or any of the reasoning behind it.
The search for the why has led the FBI to carry out search warrants at Livelsberger's Colorado Springs home and locations around the world where the Army Green Beret soldier had served. Authorities have confirmed Livelsberger and the attacker in the New Orleans New Year's Day attack both rented their trucks through the Turo app, and they both served in Afghanistan at around the same time. But it's not known if they had any connection.
These turned out to be simply similarities, very strange similarities to have. And so we're not prepared to rule in or rule out anything at this point.
Officials did express surprise at the rudimentary nature of the bombing, saying that they would have expected more sophisticated materials from someone with Livelsberger's background. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
President Biden has also just given an update on both attacks. He says as of now, there is no evidence that the two are connected, but the FBI is still investigating that possibility.
This is a live look now at the Presidential Citizens Medal ceremony in the White House. President Biden is bestowing the second highest civilian award to the leaders of the congressional investigation into the Capitol riot on January 6th, Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson.
The president is giving the Presidential Citizens Medal to 20 people, including Americans who fought for marriage equality and a pioneer for treating wounded soldiers. In a statement, the White House said Biden believes these Americans are bonded by their common decency and commitment to serving others, and that the country is better off because of their dedication and service.
Well, tomorrow, House Speaker Mike Johnson will face a vote to retain his position. While Johnson has the backing of President-elect Donald Trump, some of his fellow Republicans aren't so sure about him. The problem? The deals Johnson took in order to get a government spending bill passed. What we know for sure right now is at least one House Republican has said he will not be voting for Johnson. But if that's the only person who defects, Johnson could win on the first round. But at least 2 other representatives have said they remain undecided, meaning we could see multiple rounds of voting. If the House doesn't elect a speaker, representatives will not be able to do anything, including certify President-elect Donald Trump's win on January 6th.
And the president-elect will hold a rally-type event on January 19th in Washington, D.C., right before his inauguration. The Make America Great Again victory rally will start at 3 p.m. local time at the Capital One Arena, which can hold about 20,000 people. Trump's inauguration is set to be the next day.
The final plans to lay the 39th president of the United States to rest are in place. Saturday, a motorcade will take President Jimmy Carter's body through his hometown of Plains, Georgia. He'll lie in repose at the Carter Center in Atlanta. Then on Tuesday, January 7th, he'll lie in state at the U.S. Capitol, and 1 week from today, he'll receive his state funeral at Washington National Cathedral before being flown back to Georgia for burial. President Biden has declared that day, January 9th, as a national day of mourning. Federal agencies will not be open. The U.S. stock market will be closed as well. Carter died on Sunday at 100, the oldest a president has ever lived. At his funeral next Thursday, President Biden will deliver Carter's eulogy.
11 Palestinians are dead, including the Director General of Gaza Police and a deputy, after an Israeli strike overnight. Video here on your screen that will show up It shows the aftermath of the strike. Gaza's Interior Ministry says Israel killed the law enforcement officers in order to undermine law and order in the Palestinian territory. In response, the Israeli military says the deputy killed was, quote, a terrorist. It did not, however, comment on the alleged killing of Gaza's head of police. This adds to the more than 45,000 Palestinians killed as Israel continues carrying out its war.
Well, like Alex said, we've been spoiled lately, so it feels a little colder out, but it's not unusual.
No, not unusual with temperatures in the upper 20s for this time of year. That's normal. Our wind chills, though, that's really part of our main part of our weather story here. Even these wind chills, in my opinion, they're doable. This is what you'd expect for January. Feels like 21 in Madison, feels like 20 in Janesville, feels like the upper teens in the Wisconsin River Valley and the chilly spot up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties where it feels starting to get into the single digits. But these wind chills are going to go down and down and down over the course of the next couple hours and the next couple of days as we plan our evening here in Madison and really southern Wisconsin for that matter. As we go to 6 o'clock, it feels like 17 in Madison. When we get to 10 o'clock, it feels like 10, and the wind chills are going to continue to go lower than that. Waking up Friday morning, some of you may be going off to school, or if you have travel in the morning, it's going to feel like -4 across a good portion of southern Wisconsin, maybe a -8 in Camp Douglas and a -2 in Janesville. And this is the most important part, is the feels like factor. Now we fast forward, we go to Saturday morning. If you have any travel plans, you're going to be waking up to feels like values as cold as -10. And that's because we've got the combination of falling temperatures and the winds. A little bit later in the 4 o'clock newscast between 4:30 and 5, we'll track the winds as well. But it's that combination of the winds and falling temperatures, that bottom line with our temperatures. Wind chills as cold as -5 tonight, as cold as -10 Friday night, and staying cold clear out through next week. I do want to emphasize, though, with our winter weather headlines, our winter weather bulletins, that when we had wind chill advisories, wind chill warnings, wind chill watches, those have been consolidated. Just a reminder to extreme cold watch, extreme cold warning, and a cold weather advisory. You need wind chills as cold as -20 or colder for a cold weather advisory. Good news is I don't see that in the near term across southern Wisconsin, so that is certainly a silver lining there. But temperatures staying way below normal. This faint blue line, our temperatures right now are near normal, but nothing like that really throughout the next 10 days. That cold is going to stick around to southern Wisconsin, but will we have any precipitation with it? We'll talk about that in just a moment here. 2/3 of our country, according to the Climate Prediction Center, going to be cold, if not nearly 100% chance of being colder than normal. Got to go way out to the west, out towards Oregon and California for warmer than normal temperatures. Now that weather system that we've been talking about for Sunday still looks like it's going to stay to our south. Low snow chances for much of southern Wisconsin, especially areas south towards Wisconsin-Illinois border. You might sneak a little light snow, but it's going to be battling some cold, dry air that we have in place. So that's really the only chance of snow here over the course of the next 10 days. What we have very high chances of course, those cold temperatures that are certainly going to be well below normal. Join us for our 5 o'clock newscast. We'll take a look at that weather system in a little bit more detail on Sunday going on into Monday. Can't leave this weather without doing a little bit of viewer photo opportunities. Just scan that QR code. I think we've got, I can't pick out the plant here, but it's covered in freezing fog, and this is from Christy in Muscadet. I don't think we're going to have freezing fog anytime soon with as dry and as cold as it's going to be, but I saw this picture on our channel3000.com weather page. Want to give folks the opportunity to scan the QR code to send your pictures in so that we can show the weather. Not just talk about the weather, let's show the weather on air.
I like that photo. It's kind of haunting.
I think it reminds me, it looks like a dandelion. I could be totally wrong, but looking at it, I think it might be a dandelion.
Nonetheless, whatever it is, it's very cold.
Yeah, very nice. Well, coming up on Live at 4, are you planning a vacation in the new year? Maybe somewhere warm?
I hope so. Consumer Reports has tips to help you travel smarter when we're back.
Well, this is a problem millions of Americans face. Lower back pain can have a significant impact on your body, limiting range of motion and even causing pain that radiates to other parts of the body. Data from the National Health Interview Survey showed 39% of all U.S. adults reported back pain in 2019. The percentage of adults who experienced it increased with age. More than 45% of those aged 65 and older reported this pain, and women were found to be more likely to experience back pain than men. But there is a path to relief without medication.
New research suggests there's an easy way to possibly prevent it, and that's by simply walking, simply moving. A recent study linked walking to fewer flare-ups and backaches, and we know that walking is good for the entire body.
Walking helps strengthen the muscles, improves metabolism, and more. But if you're just starting out, make sure you vary your pace and distance throughout the week, especially if you are in pain.
Jobless claims hit an 8-month low in the last report of 2024. The weekly initial claims for unemployment benefits totaled 211,000. That's 10,000 less than estimates predicted. Data released this morning by the Department of Labor shows claims for unemployment benefits fell to 1.84 million for the week of December 21st. That's a 3-month low. The data shows the U.S. labor market is continuing to cool in a steady manner.
Ford is recalling nearly 300,000 diesel-powered F-Series trucks. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the vehicle's fuel pumps may fail and cause a loss of power, increasing the risk of a crash. Ford says so far it's unaware of any crashes or injuries caused by the issue. Owners of the recalled vehicles can get a free repair at Ford dealerships.
Consumer Reports is sharing its most reliable cars for those in the market. This year, it's the Subaru Forester. Second to the Subaru is Lexus. Toyota slipping from the top spot, but holding on to third. Electric vehicles did not fare well for reliability. Consumer Reports says EVs have a 42% more problems than hybrids and gas-powered cars. Tesla ranks at 17th on the list of brands, and Rivian is at the very bottom.
With the new year here, it's the perfect time to plan your next trip.
And booking doesn't have to be stressful or break the bank. Michelle Renee Quinn shows us a few smart tips from Consumer Reports so you can save big and travel smarter.
Finding great travel deals takes a little know-how. Consumer Reports reporter and travel enthusiast Lisa Gill is sharing some of CR's top tips for saving money on your next trip.
Markdowns can be misleading because they can come from prices that nobody actually ever pays.
She says track flight prices with tools like Google Flights or Kayak. Adjust dates or use nearby airports to save. For last-minute deals, try Cheap O-Air. Watch out for basic fares. They seem cheap, but often exclude carry-ons, seat choices, or sitting together with extras adding up fast. For a round-trip ticket, shop for 2 one-way flights, even if that means mixing airlines.
Book directly with the airline whenever possible. That way, if there's any last-minute cancellations or changes, you can work directly with the airline instead of working through a third-party site.
When selecting hotels, CR recommends starting with ratings and reviews. Be cautious of discounts that seem too good to be true.
You should ignore pressure tactics like 50 people booked this hotel in the last hour. Instead, once you find a hotel you like, check their website and look for deals. And if you don't find any, call the hotel directly.
Vacation rentals through home-sharing sites like Airbnb or Vrbo can be great for larger families, offering more space and sometimes discounts for longer stays. But you might not get the amenities and perks a hotel offers. Plan your cruise early, ideally 6 to 12 months ahead. Go to cruisecritic.com to compare options. If you're renting a car, even if you're offered a discount, skip paying up front. That's because prices can drop closer to your travel date, and you'll have the flexibility to change the reservation if needed. Consider picking it up away from the airport, where rates are often lower, but double check if it's worth the extra travel cost. This is Michelle Renee Quinn.
And don't forget to use membership discounts. If you're a member of AAA, AARP, or the military, or even if you're a healthcare worker, you could save 20 to 35%, and that's enough to help cover all those pesky fees and taxes.
Good tips.
Or you could stay home.
Well, next on Live at 4, nearly 200 uncounted ballots in Madison.
What state elections officials are doing to hold the Madison City Clerk's office accountable next.
watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
You know, it looks nicer than it is.
Yeah, that's true. You see a little bit of the snow on the ground, but not a ton.
I think someone must be making an ice rink, getting some water down so people can skate, maybe, possibly.
I think you're right.
Okay.
I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, it's feeling but not quite looking like January, Alex.
Yeah, I don't think that person's watering plants at all.
They might need to call Lisa if they are.
That's right. And when we look out here out on our patio as well, you'd think this time of year, gosh, we'd have snow out on the ground, and you look out and you see the grass and you're thinking, well, it's probably pretty mild out there. But our temperatures feel like January. Let's look at our temperature trend here over the course of the past 12 to 24 hours across southern Wisconsin. We've been in the 20s. We got as cold as the teens this morning and up to 28 degrees for a temperature that is absolutely close to normal for this time of year. But that's not going to last for very long. 28, though, still in Madison, 28 in Lone Rock, and 25 to the north in the Dells, and 27 to the south right now in Monroe. These temperatures, which are normal temperatures, don't get used to today's temperatures because they're going to get a lot colder across southern Wisconsin. We've got wind chills. That's the feels like factor, and the breeze is just starting to pick up out here. That's a hint of things to come. Wind chill values as cold as the teens across the Dells and down towards Monroe. But again, this is what you would expect for January temperature-wise so far. As we go through the rest of the night here in Madison and southern Wisconsin, temperatures by the time you join us for our 10 o'clock newscast will feel as cold as 10 degrees out here on the patio, and that's a hint of things to come. Sub-zero wind chills are in the forecast and more coming up in my main weather on that weather system for Sunday. Will we get some snow? And what about the drought conditions? Might be wondering, drought? Winter? I'll explain.
Thank you, Alex. The city of Madison is coming under scrutiny after city officials found close to nearly 200 ballots that weren't counted during this November's election.
Political reporter Will Keneally shows us. Will.
Well, just today, Wisconsin Elections Commission voted unanimously to launch an investigation into how these 193 absentee ballots were lost by City Madison officials. Now, this is the first time that the bipartisan commission is launching an investigation like this. The commissioner said today that during a special meeting, that they are concerned about some of the transparency coming from the city.
I suppose my biggest concern here is why it took a month and a half for this to come out. And that's very, very disturbing.
That sort of transparency is just sort of missing here. So we can't be a part of the solution until we know what went wrong, and unfortunately we just don't right now.
So here's what this timeline looks like so far. Now, these were absentee ballots voters filled out and then they got lost in city custody. Now, the first batch was found November 12th. That was 68 ballots. Now, that happened before the Wisconsin Elections Commission certified the state election results November 29th. Now, a second round was found later, December 3rd, and a couple weeks went by before the city of Madison told elections officials on December 18th they contacted the Wisconsin Elections Commission. Now, in response to the investigation, Madison's mayor tells us that she will work with the Wisconsin Elections Commission. She says in a statement that I agree that an investigation can help provide transparency and accountability, as well as hopefully provide lessons that all Wisconsin clerks can learn to prevent similar errors in the future.
Thank you, Will. The leader of the Senate Democrats is backing the chair of Wisconsin's Democratic Party to lead the national party. Senator Chuck Schumer has endorsed Ben Wickler to be the next chair of the Democratic National Committee, replacing the outgoing chair, Jamie Harrison. Schumer cited Wickler's strong electoral and fundraising record, most recently his work in helping re-elect Senator Tammy Baldwin. A statement from Schumer reads in part, Democrats should view this moment as a challenge. We must listen to the American people, learn from the results, and move forward stronger. That's why I am enthusiastically supporting Ben Wickler to be the next chair of the Democratic National Committee. The party will pick their next chair on February 1st.
Before that can happen, though, the 119th Congress will be sworn in. That includes Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. After her swearing in, Baldwin will highlight her priorities for the upcoming term in a press conference. You can watch coverage of that right here on News 3 Now.
The 32-year-old man found unresponsive earlier this week while in Madison police custody is dead. Monday night, officers responded to a report of a vehicle theft at the Best Western Hotel on Anamark Drive. This is on the city's northeast side. After chasing the suspect, they arrested him. EMS evaluated the man after police arrested him. Then officers took him to jail. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says on the way to the jail, he became unresponsive. He was taken to a local hospital in critical condition. He died on Tuesday. The Wisconsin Justice Department's Division of Criminal Investigation is leading the investigation into his death.
And Wall Street starting off the new year on a bad note. The Dow lost 152 points today, the Nasdaq down 30, and the S&P 500 lost 13.
Norovirus cases are surging across the country. The CDC says reports of the common stomach bug are increasing each week. The extremely contagious virus symptoms include nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and sometimes even fever or chills. Most people improve within a day or two. Still, cases are higher than usual. The CDC says in the week of December 5th, there were 91 outbreaks reported. That was up nearly 70 from the previous week in the same period in recent years. And there are generally 65 or less outbreaks per week. Tomorrow on Live at 4, we'll talk with an epidemiologist with the Wisconsin DHS about how the virus is spread and the precautions you can take to protect yourself.
Voting is now open for the 27th member of the Packers Fan Hall of Fame. Each year, the Packers ask fans to nominate themselves or someone they know for the honor with an essay or a picture. The Packers Fan Hall of Fame Selection Committee then picks 10 finalists for you to vote on. To read each finalist profile and cast your vote, head to packers.com/FHOF. The deadline to vote is on January 31st. Voters will be entered into a random drawing to win Packers merchandise. The Packers will announce which fan will enter the Hall of Fame in late February.
And we have a live look now at the Presidential Citizens Medal ceremony in the White House. President Biden is bestowing the second highest civilian award to the leaders of the congressional investigation into the Capitol riot on January 6th, Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson.
The president is giving the Presidential Citizens Medal to 20 people, including Americans who fought for marriage equality and a pioneer for treating wounded soldiers. In a statement, the White House said Biden believes these Americans are bonded by their common decency and commitment to serving others, and that the country is better off because of their dedication and sacrifice.
And coming up on Live at 4, the first weekend of 2025.
Josh Ryder shows us 3 things you can do in the 608.
On the next Live at 4, Will Loper shows us what's new to streaming the first weekend of the new year.
And norovirus is spreading quickly across the country. We sit down with a member of the state's DHS for tips on keeping your family healthy.
Well, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you,
In
too.
the 608, we're looking ahead to the first weekend of 2025.
Josh Spreiter is here in studio with his 3 things to do.
Well, it is the first weekend in the 608 of the new year. We made it past the holidays, so events are changing a bit heading into 2025. But if you're still in the Christmas spirit, this weekend is your last chance to check out the holiday light show at Rotary Botanical Gardens in Janesville. Gates are open through Saturday the 4th from 4:30 to 8:30 in the evening. More than 1.6 million lights light that garden. Tickets for adults are $15. It's $5 for children and free for those 2 and under. Remember, proceeds support the garden year-round. Well, you may be trying to eat a little healthier or fresher in the new year, so here's your opportunity to join your favorite farmers at the late winter Dane County Farmers Market. This is at Garver Feed Mill on Saturday mornings. Support 50 local farmers, cheesemakers, and bakers, and do your weekly grocery shopping. The market runs from 8 to noon each Saturday from January 4th through April 5th. If getting outside or moving more in the new year is one of your resolutions, how about a nature hike at the UW-Madison Arboretum? This is happening Sunday afternoon, and it is a chance for you to learn about the land, plants, and animals. It is free and no registration is required. You're just asked to meet at the visitor center at 1 in the afternoon. You can always find more happenings in the 608 by going to channel3000.com. In the 608 for Live at 4, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Thanks, Josh. And coming up on Live at 4, what do fairy tales and sleep have in common? Researchers say more than just dreams.
Dr. Zorba Pastor joins us to break it all down when we come back.
We are taking a live look at Denver, Colorado.
50 degrees, so also Not really looking like January. I guess feeling like January there.
See, that's the type of weather we'd go out like in shorts, maybe with just a sweatshirt here in Wisconsin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could like wear short sleeves and long pants or short pants and long sleeves.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, well, Brady, I have a question for you. What was
Yes.
your favorite fairy tale growing up?
The Disney-fied versions of like The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Sleeping Beauty, 80s, 90s stuff.
Good picks.
You?
I would say Sleeping Beauty, for
Okay.
sure, yeah.
Well, researchers say that these stories can actually teach children about healthy sleep and other lessons. Dr. Zorba Pastor is here with how that all works. Hello.
Hello, good to see you guys. Mine is Red Riding Hood.
Yeah. Well, what's the lesson that we can learn from that?
Well, be careful of strangers. They might be a wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, that's kind of what that is. So this was a really interesting article in the British Medical Journal talking about basically how you can use fairy tales to teach kids about things. So I'm going to take a little data. I don't usually read out of paper, but I'm going to do it. Snow White.
Yeah.
So daytime consequences of poor sleep. I mean, that's what this is about. So grumpy, right?
Oh.
Irritability. Tired, that's sleepy. Right, you think about this. Weaker social skills, bashful.
Yeah.
Problems with word fluency, Doc. Remember Doc? He was the guy, who stuttered. And then sneezing might be allergies. So that may be a chance to talk to your kids about, hey, you need to have a good night's sleep because it'll make a difference. Make a difference with things.
And don't take a poisoned apple from someone.
Not at all. Right. That's the other story.
Yeah.
That's it. Princess is the P. Sleepless nights may actually be something to do with autism and autism disorder. Very interesting about what you did and the construction and how the princess had problems. Once again, a chance to really talk to your kids. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Come on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Everything's got to be just perfect. And that's a chance to discuss something called the Bears criteria for sleeping in kids. So bedtime issues, making sure you go potty before you go to bedtime. E is excessive daytime sleepiness, nighttime awakening, regularity and duration of sleep, and snoring. So that gives you a chance to really look at that. And then, of course, there's Peter Pan. And those are para-insomnias. Kids who have trouble sleepwalking have really big issues, and kids that get stuck in nightmares have big issues. So the idea is that fairy tales give you a chance to discuss things with your children.
Yeah, kind of give them the tools so they can learn and know why they're experiencing what they're experiencing.
Exactly right. And you can do it in a way where it's kind of fun and interesting. You're never going to sit down with your kid and give them lists because, as a parent, I know as soon as you start listing things to your kids, right, forget it. Their brain goes out the window.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a great opportunity to make these kind of complex topics really simple, digestible, and not so intimidating for little kids.
Exactly. You want to go to sleep, you want to make sure you get your children. It's a big issue with kids throughout their age, when they're infants, when they're toddlers, especially when they're teenagers. Going to sleep and making sure you get a good night's sleep is so important for brain growth. Because during the time that we go to sleep, our brain actually takes the memories, reconstructs them, and actually is incredibly important for our brain.
Yeah. I think you kind of touched on this, so if you're reading these to your kids, can you turn it into a fun activity and be like, if we do this, then, and if you go to sleep and you're a good kid.
That is a great idea. That is a really good point.
Yeah,
right.
You can wear costumes, have treats.
You can do all those things. Going to sleep should be a fun time, and I think that's really part of an issue, and it's something that you just brought up. Making it a fun time can make it a difference. Making it an educational time can make a difference, and that can lead to a good night's sleep for your child and for you as a parent.
Isn't that something when you're a kid you never want to sleep and you don't want to do nap time? Now as adults, it's like, that sounds good.
That's right.
Well, thank you very much and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys, too.
Alex, what's your favorite fairy tale?
I knew you were going to ask. The Wizard of Oz, if it falls into that classification, the tornado scene is how I am here. But related to that story, what about the Cowardly Lion who didn't sleep for weeks? And, well, maybe if he slept a little bit more, maybe his courage would be a little bit higher, confidence a little bit higher. Well, I have some confidence here. The confidence in our wind chills being part of our weather story, if not the main part of our weather story, is very, very high. 21, that's what it feels like in Madison. Feels like 19 in Lone Rock and 9 right now up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties. And those temperatures are going to continue to get colder and colder, but normal right now. 28 is normal. I know it doesn't feel like normal because of how warm it's been. On our first warned weather cam here, we got cloudy skies, and we're battling some of the clouds, but they should eventually thin out enough to allow those temperatures to cool on down. Feeling like 17 at 6 o'clock, feeling like 10 by the time we get to 10 o'clock there. I almost got myself confused there, 10 and 10. Now, why are our wind chills going to be going down? That's because the wind gusts are going to be going up. Wind gusts approaching 30 miles per hour by the time you wake up to Friday morning. So get ready for a breezy day on Friday compared to our day today, which was not very breezy. Breezy conditions lasting into Friday evening and also lasting into Saturday morning, gusting up at times to near 20 miles per hour. And that'll put that chill in the air. Feeling like -2 when you wake up Friday morning in Madison, as cold as -4 in the Dells, -4 in Wautoma, 0 in Janesville, and how about a -7 in Vernon County to start off Friday morning. Saturday morning gets even colder as actual air temperatures get down into the single digits, though. Temperature you really want to take note of is the feels like factor, the wind chill factor. -10 at 6 o'clock in the morning in Madison, -12 in the Dells, -15 to the north up towards Juneau and Adams County. So certainly a cold period. Now, is this cold weather dangerously cold weather? Well, it's getting towards the cusp a bit. When we have actual air temperatures in the single digits and those winds gusting up at times to near 20 miles per hour, you put the temperature here, or excuse me, put the winds here. The winds here on the left and the temperature up here at the top, and we fall into that category of 0 to -10 below zero wind chills. That still can mean business. If you're outside for 30 minutes or more, you're going to want to cover up that skin and certainly bundle up. So the bottom line here with our temperatures, -5 wind chills overnight, -10 Friday night going into Saturday morning, and staying cold all the way through the next 10 days. If not, temperatures nearly 10 degrees below normal for the majority of the next 7 to 10 days. And that weather system, again, looking to stay to our south for Sunday. Low snow chances south of Madison. We'll be battling dry air. During our 5 o'clock newscast, I'll give you a glimpse of what that looks like on Future Track. But look at this here. Staying cold, but notice no snow chances really to speak of other than that weather system on Sunday. And I just want to take a peek here as we zoom out of Wisconsin and look at the upper Midwest. We really could use that snow. Our drought conditions, not something you're probably thinking about in the wintertime. Abnormally dry to moderate drought conditions for much of the upper Midwest, and not a lot of snow in the forecast, just a lot of cold. We'll be right back.
2025 kicks off with one of the strongest and quickest meteor showers of the year.
NASA says it'll peak for about 6 hours on Friday. The best time to spot the meteor shower will be during pre-dawn hours. Speaking of sleep, Experts say sky gazers on the East Coast may see up to 25 meteors streaking across the sky, and those on the West Coast could see double that amount because of a later sunrise. If skies remain clear over western Alaska, viewers could see more than 100 meteors per hour. Get your telescopes, everyone.
Seeing 100 would be pretty impressive.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Tomorrow on Live at 4, an epidemiologist weighs in on the spread of norovirus in Wisconsin. And later on News 3 Now at 6, a message of hope from a Milwaukee group after the New Year's attacks in New Orleans. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We hope to see you back here tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.